Good morning. I'm broadcasting live this morning from my local Temple Coffee because I got off to a late start. But anyway, I'm going to read two little small things from Ask Babylon. Now I know I've probably last year sometime or almost 2 years ago gone through the whole book. But two things in particular I wanted to repeat, I guess, today. One was the question concerning can you lose your soul? This is a letter somebody had written me. And another one which sort of is sort of related is magic harmful to children? And they're both very short, and it'll allow us to get on with our Saturday morning, and then I can go in and get a cup of coffee. Anyway, so here's the question. Hello, Babylon. I've been interested in magic for some time now, and I think I'm ready to dive in. However, I'm still having a few nagging questions that are difficult to find answers to in books on the subject. Knowing that your expertise is in Enochian or angel magic, in your opinion, how does this differ from being a born-again or true Christian? Also, on the other side of the coin, are you familiar enough with the working of the, quote, dark side of magic to know whether a person could lose his soul or become demon-possessed by dabbling in that particular discipline? I've read many things about it, both good and bad. Thank you very much. Name withheld. Hi, name withheld. Forgive the brevity of my answer this morning. I've got a lot on my plate today, but I'm going to be perfectly frank with you, and I want you to take what I'm about to say in the spirit that it is offered. They say that there is no such thing as a bad question, and your questions certainly aren't any exception. But they do indicate to me your fundamental understanding of the subject is currently such that you're probably mistaken in your assertion that you are ready to dive into magic. I don't know how to answer your first question. Dee was a Christian, as were many medieval and Renaissance magicians. Whether they were, quote, true Christians is something upon which I don't feel qualified to pass judgment. Perhaps if you read my books on the Key to Solomon's Key or Enochian Vision Magic, you might get a clearer idea. Also, for the fundamentals, my Angels, Demons, and Gods of the New Millennium might be helpful. People with existing emotional or mental issues should stay away from guns, drugs, alcohol, magic, and Christianity. If you're crazy to begin with, all these things make it worse. I've never experienced a case of, quote, demon, quote, unquote, possession outside a tavern or cocktail lounge, and in those instances, the possessed individuals had never in their lives dabbled in magic at all. I do not wish to offend you, but if you are disturbed by the possibility or even the capability of losing your soul or being demon-possessed, then it is likely you are currently not in touch with the spiritual realities that would make magic safe and a meaningful endeavor. My best, Babylon. Is magic harmful to children? Dear Babalov, my wife asked me a question about the Necronomicon the other day, as she has been doing angel magic through talismans and has had little success. So she intends to use the Necronomicon. She asked me if it would be dangerous with a small child in the house, even if it works. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, as I've never used that mythos. I've read the book, but I don't know if it works. Could you offer some opinions or advice about that system? Have you ever used it? Does it work? Is there any danger to it, especially to our daughter? I remember from your book you used the Goetia when your child was young. Would you have used the Necronomicon instead? Poke Runyon has an hilarious poem called There Ain't No Necronomicon. I don't know if it's online or you can Google it, but if you Google around and get Carol Poke Runyon Necronomicon, you'll just love it. I love Pope. Okay. Dear Name Withheld, I'm really not trying to take the color or romance out of Magick for you, but you should know that the so-called Necronomicon that is being sold today in various editions was artfully created in the late 1970s by several people known to myself. In fact, my son has a signed first edition from one of the participants in the project who is a family friend. That being said, the Necronomicon, when used properly, can probably be as viable a system of magical evocation as any number of ancient grimoires. Does that surprise you? After all, even the books of the classic Key of Solomon had to be created by somebody. Magic isn't harmful to children, but parents who behave overdramatically, spooky, fearful, and superstitious often are. I did lots of magical rituals and ceremonies in the house when our son was growing up. I even evoked spirits in his bedroom, with him out of the bedroom, naturally. I did not, however, perform serious magic in front of him, with the exception of saying will before eating and resh at sunrise, noon, sunset, and midnight, and going to Gnostic Mass. Neither did Constance and I attempt to turn him into a little magician. I think it's absolutely shameful to see parents who themselves do not yet have an adequate understanding of magic or the nature of their own spiritual explorations, trying to indoctrinate their kids. When Jean-Paul was growing up, Constance and I just tried to be as normal as we could. Kids like normal. But that doesn't mean that normal can't be fun, colorful, and interesting. We didn't make a big thing about how different we were because we didn't believe in Jesus like the neighbors do. In fact, we exposed him to as many religions and spiritual philosophies that his age could handle. Kids are smart. They can see through Christianity, but they can also see through you and me. Best to teach by example of your own happiness. If your magic is not making you happy, your kids are certainly not going to want to embrace it when they're grown. Off my soapbox. Got to get ready for Monday night magic class. My best, Babalov. Okay, I know I've started early, and it's pretty short. But anyway, hope you enjoyed today's show. I'm going to try to go in and get a cup of coffee. There's a long line this morning at Temple Coffee, and I've got things to do today. As a matter of fact, I've got to get ready for my talk just right down the street from here on Friday. So I'm going to be appearing at a little bookstore, my local bookstore, on Friday night. Anyway, class is over. I'll see you tomorrow for Sunday school. Until then, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.